that you was while you were talking, it triggered me into a video that I seen, and a lady basically she covered a different perspective of something that I said before that's funny. I said it in a funny way, but she said it in a more mature way. And I wanted to discuss this because it mattered. I was being funny when I was like that basically broke niggas do more at home than rich people do when they're at home. Like the broke guy doesn't spend, I mean, doesn't do as much for the house, but he does a lot inside the home. And then the guy that does have money doesn't do as much in the home because he does so much for the home. So today I was watching a lady and she was talking to a woman and she was explaining to the woman how a large amount of African American women that are independent but make a certain financial status, a reason why we won't be able to accept a good man is because we have taken away the value side of what that good man is based off our income. And she was like that if you're making six figures as the woman, she was like that would be what you would want to expect out of your spouse. So if you're bringing that in, six figures is definitely enough to take care of a household. If you bring in a guy and he doesn't make that, but he does make something, but it's not as much as you don't want him. But the odds of an African American man being easily able to make six figures over a woman is not the same. So then she asked the woman, like, does he have to make at least six figures? And the woman was like, yeah, like I make that, it's only right. So then she flipped it and was like, well, would you date a bus driver? And she was like, if he owns the bus. And the way the lady looked at her, and I knew where she was headed, but it blew my mind because it was interesting. She said, and see, that's the problem. She was like, I would date the bus driver. She was like, if the bus driver has strong work ethic and goes to work, if he's maintained the job, if he loves his family, if he loves his mama, if he's going to take care of you. She was like, those values are what you're missing because you're looking at if he's a six-figure brother. She was like, if he's six figures, but he doesn't have all of them, there's no worth in that. The worth would be in everything that I listed. And she said that you got to keep in mind, if you're bringing that in and you have the ability to discuss with the guy his role for you, not necessarily the role, but just, the balance for you both, then you can be able to be happy. But because we have now been egotistically brainwashed into being these strong women that look down on these men, this is making us all alone. And crazily, I agree, but it sucks. So I just want to know how y'all feel, because it is unfortunate, and a large amount of us, mixed in with music, of course, too. Music doesn't help the situation, but there are a larger amount of Black women that are able to touch incomes that a larger amount of Black men aren't. And if their moral compass is still great, they are great dads. They do take care of home. They are willing to love you, but don't bring in enough. Then we are losing on them if we're basing it off that. How do y'all feel about that?
Wait, so you're saying you agree with the fact of dating the he has to make six figures?
No, I agree with her saying that if she was bringing in six figures and her husband was a bus driver, but he was a good man, that she would stick beside him. I agree with that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that was
Absolutely.
the foundation of relationships anyway. If we want to think about it, long time ago, well, how was the man coming? He was coming to our fathers and giving what? Giving money so he can take his daughter and marry her and have
He has to prove he could provide for that daughter. Like
exactly.
if you could
So,
not take care, like the way it used to be, you had to prove you could provide for a woman to take her as a wife. If you
right
could not take better care of this woman than her family could, you could not be with this woman.
at all. So now that's how we're thinking anyway. So
Right.
now the man may take a woman's role or stay at home dad or whatever. It's frowned upon, or he has a what bum ass job is what we say, not making six figures. Now, yeah. So we are brainwashed in that way, and it sucks.
Yes. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think
I
that,
think for me, like she said, I could do the bus driver salary as long as he's a good man. I think the issue comes about when people start to feel entitled to what you work hard for and what you earn, or okay, I've accepted the fact that you don't make a certain amount of money and you cannot provide. I'll accept that, but I won't accept anything else like on top of that. Like you have to pick a struggle. A lot of times it's you don't have the income and you got several kids, or you don't have the income and you don't have a car. You don't have the income and like it's not just the income. I don't think women just have a issue with dating men who don't have a certain income, because if that's the case, a lot of these broke men would be single and they're not.
facts. You better say that. It says as a man being broke is rough. And I do feel like it's funny that comment came when she said what she said, because it does depend on the situation. Certain broke men, it can be rough depending on the caliber of woman that they're going after, because there are a large amount of broke men that have a support by a woman. But I also feel like it's also because that broke man didn't come in, like she's saying, feeling entitled, like, okay, I'm still a man and da 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 da, that the woman that he's dealing with still respected his level as the man. Because I feel like us as women, regardless of what you make, it is about who you are, how you walk. I know I was being funny one day, but I was telling this guy, I said, there's a reason why every movie that Denzel Washington plays in, they make sure he gets at least one scene where we get to watch him walk, because he got a powerful ass walk.
Baby.
And there's a lot to be said about a man with a strong walk.
Baby.
So you know you gonna see Denzel walk, and
Yes.
you gonna love it. So
Mm.
I feel like there's certain things that about men that are far beyond the wallet that make him the man. But because society has painted these visualizations of what each person's supposed to be, we're out here trying to literally live up to that. Like if every man was taught they had to match up to who Mr. Incredible is, it would be rough for some of these men, especially men that can't gain weight. They can't get muscle. So they'd be stressed out. Like, I can't get buff like him if that's the standard of a man. So it's unfortunate because the standard of our Black men has been placed on their wallet when a large amount of their strength doesn't come from that, especially now that we're able to bring in the earning income. So it sucks because the Europeanized version of how relationships should be has been adopted by us, and we're the ones failing in it. It's almost like we've been taught something that we just keep failing in. Oh, I got us quiet. That's my bad.
No, I wanted to say that I agree
Bro.
with
Oh, I'm
what
gonna ask.
you said ideologically, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we lived in an ideological world, what you said would be brilliant. However, we live in reality, right? And so I would have to say, for me, I would not be the person who would date the bus driver. And I'm going to tell you why. It is not because of financial reasons. I know math, right? And we worry a lot about, 50-50, but the goal is to be 100, right? So I know there are many ways to get to 100. So if the goal is to be 100 and we're a unit and we moving together, then it don't matter if it's 90-10. We get into our 100 because we're in this together, and that has been my mind frame when it comes to things like that. But also, I would have to say that it can't be the bus driver, right? And I say that because I am not a regular dregular schmegular type woman, right? I have things, and this is like I did so much thinking over this weekend, even while I'm out like having fun and just enjoying life. Like I'm just really having these realizations because like one of my friends, like my best friends in life, is getting married this summer. And like that is my bougie Black friend. And I say that with so much love, right? Like that is checklist good on paper and in real life. And so like the wedding's out of town, and I'm sitting up here and I'm like, okay, I hit up one of my homegirls and I'm like, hey girl, we can go to this wedding and we can just like make it like a girls trip and blah blah blah. But then I'm also like, but ain't you dating somebody? Like, why would this person, why you have a big event and this is not someone who can fit into your life? So it then becomes a reassessment of my values, and should I even be dating this person or dealing with this person? Because if I have these high end goals, I have award shows to go to. I have, like, just this past year, I did a Rock Nation event.
Ooh.
If I can't say I'm at this event and know that you have a suit to put on, and know that I can bring you and you can be in these spaces and you can sit there and be cool and be cool and confident and assured that you are in a position that that you deserve to be here because we deserve to be here, then like no. Or how do I know that you ain't gonna try to say, speaking it into existence, we in the room with Jay-Z and Beyonce, you trying to give him a CD, or you up there trying to show Beyonce doing all this? Like,
Well,
no,
see,
in these
I'm,
spaces.
um, can I cut you
I
off
was,
just or
I was
tap in with what you said? Because just because he's a bus driver doesn't mean that he doesn't have manners or doesn't have a suit. He might go to church and he might have suits. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the top of the line suit. I'm just saying. I wouldn't. Just don't judge people by their job. He might have a side hustle. All of us, as far as I know, I'm familiar with y'all names and faces, to be honest. So I think every one of us has been a part of the KCPC Awards.
Yeah.
mhm.
So it's hard trying to find a date as a single woman to
It is.
go to the People's Choice Awards. It really is.
Right.
And I mean, I've been there. I experienced it with dudes. They like, oh, I ain't got no suit, and it's like, damn. So I guess I get both of it. I get both sides of it, but I don't want to just cut people off because of their job,
Right.
just assuming like, oh, you're a bus driver. Maybe
And
you got a
sorry, go ahead.
t-shirt business, or maybe
Myself with that. Please
Sorry,
allow me
say
to correct
yours.
myself. So it's not so
Sorry.
much, oh, I don't, your job is not good enough. It is a matching of lifestyles, right? And so we can even like maybe put it in better terms, being equally yoked, right? Like
yeah,
if I have to catch a flight and I need to be on the other side of the country or in for a weekend or something like that is going on, and that's my lifestyle, and I want my partner to be able to come with me, that's not possible if you got to check and see if you have PTO.
Well, that's not that being equally yoked don't have nothing to do with your job description. But as far as being a job bus driver, we know that he's what? He's
Employed.
He
dedicated.
employee
he got
He
health
gets up and go to
insurance.
work every day.
Yep.
He know how to
on
keep
time.
time. He's gonna show the fuck up.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Uh
And I was gonna say,
the
Miss
nigga know how to tuck in his shirt
like,
and wear a fucking belt.
yep.
So it's like
He got health
if
benefits.
the motherfucking type of person that I am, whoever I'm with, he gonna shine and he gonna step up. So just
Yes.
because he was a bus driver today, don't mean he's gonna be a bus driver tomorrow.
And
No.
then
Very
my
well,
bus
very
driver,
well
and I
said.
was gonna say that, Keon, you got to keep in mind that sometimes you forget or we forget as women breed warriors. So you may get him as a bus driver and he dedicated, but you're right. You stand next to you long enough and he see you sitting and you
Absolutely.
walking to these rooms and you talking to these board members and he gonna feel away eventually and
He
he
gonna
may
step up.
in that and be like, and you chose me, I'm not gonna keep standing beside you and
Yeah.
looking like less than. So you got to keep in mind that there's two options in that. Either you can see
Yeah.
and find out that he can be more, or you would be the lonely woman. And then you know how them dudes be on there and be like, I'm sure a good man hollered at you and you let him pass you by. And you be like, well, I did because when I was about to meet Beyonce, that nigga was gonna be a bum. And it's like,
We
but you
don't have
never
a bus ticket.
you're basically visualizing a potential that never happened, but the man did happen. So the man was really there, but you've seen a scenario that never was going to happen. And now you're not going to get the man. That definitely matters. So I feel like sometimes we do, I wouldn't even say it's about being humble, but it do go back into what they said. I can't disagree with what you said because your reasons do make sense. But I do
Yeah,
think you got to keep in mind too, there it's way easier for you to get into them doors than he would have got in, whether he worked where he worked or not. So the honor of being in that room with you, whether it's humiliating or not, to me, what's more humiliating is arriving with no one on my arm because that can get to be a little embarrassing too. So it's
Oh
like I do
no. I
standing alone,
doing it over
but
and
I
over
wouldn't
again, it
mind
can
seeing
get embarrassing.
a
look,
dedicated.
I will
So it's
twirl,
not about showing up.
and I got some wonderful gay friends.
Well, I ain't now. I don't even want to go there. But what I'm speaking
Well, the
on,
thing is,
I know the power of when you come into a situation like the example that you given, Beyonce and all of them. If that was the case and we're coming there, it's power in showing up as a unit, regardless of who does what in the unit. Y'all are a unit. And truly there's strength in the numbers of y'all too. And maybe, okay, the strength ain't the fact that when he shakes hands, it reminds me of what's that movie? You remember the movie when the husband, he wasn't of much, and she just acted like he was so embarrassing at the dinner, but she was really sleeping with the white dude.
Oh.
Remember how then she was just like, "Oh my God, why are you here?" And he was a construction worker, and she was sleeping with the owner. It was one of Tyler Perry.
oh, I do remember that.
And she acted like it was such an embarrassment for him to be there. Remember when I just remember it was Cartwright was the last name. But anyway, but at the end of the
It
day,
was Taraji.
he was willing to do everything for her. He was standing next to her and all of that. And then in the end, all of the mess that she was on, it kind of ended up biting her in the face. And he was a good man. So I just feel like, I do get the personas, but like I like to tell people when I do the mentoring, the persona is cool, but who gonna be there for you at 2 a.m. when you horny and you need your back rubbed? Them people that you're trying to personify for are not gonna be there. So that bus driver, that's
Well,
matter.
the thing is, she said partner. She said partner, and she said, you want to do 100. You got to put in 10 or 100%. I'm gonna put in 100%. So maybe it's the time where he don't have his 100 and you giving the 100,
Right.
and you really looking for a partner. Then it's gonna be times where you're coming out of pocket for your partner, just like you would expect. Because I know that as a woman, if you was dating a man who's making 6 figures and more, and you're on the lesser end, you wouldn't expect him to just leave you in Kansas City because you can't afford the ticket.
And you got to keep in mind of what level that is great too, because for example, maybe he ain't 100 in finances, but maybe he's 100 in parenting, and you're only 30%. So now he don't bring in as much, but he's a better parent than you. So that may actually balance y'all out because he handles the kids, whereas you're handling the finances. So I feel like it does depend on what makes y'all together 100, because his 100 still may not benefit your 100. That matters too when it comes to the discussions. He may be great in all these facets that don't benefit your life in any format. Like you're an artist and you sensitive about your shit. Well, what if he's a corporate American and don't give a fuck about your sensitivity, but he's 100? So I feel like it still matters.
Or he make
it be 100 for me. So I feel like we're just kind of like putting words in my mouth and saying things that I did not say, because like we're talking about like materialistic things and we're talking about like financial things. I'm talking about a person that matches my lifestyle. So I think I may have, like I said, I think I may have misspoken some kind of way, because I feel like a lot of the defense is not for what I said. Like,
no defense.
My essential point is that we as women, a lot of times where we mess up is we date men based on potential. So we will meet the guy that is the bus driver, and he is just all he is a bus driver. And I am not denigrating that at all. Bus drivers make great money. It's a great job to have. So that's not me, but I'm just saying that since that's the example that was given. And we think, well, one day this is going to be my Jay-Z and I'm going to be his Beyonce. I'm going to be Michelle and he's going to be Barack. But it's just like, no, because that's not who he is.
But it's Envion and Coleman. So it don't gotta be. I feel like if you're not worried about this caliber, then it's you and this person at y'all's level, which is still a great level. So maybe no, it ain't be Jay-Z, but it's you and your person.
Well, I think what she's trying to say is that if it's not gonna get to that, then she's just not gonna.
She don't want it.
Right. Because you do have to actually get to a point where you're sitting down talking about future goals. So if you're gonna continue to be a bus driver and this is what your goal is in life, and that's all you wanted to be as a bus driver, then MVP, she just don't want that. And you want somebody that's gonna be a bus driver and then eventually own the bus company, with and that'll be the conversation throughout the whole relationship at that point. Like, okay, you drive a bus today, just like Star said, you drive a bus today, but he might not drive a bus tomorrow, or he may own the bus company in 2 years. Yes. So that's what the conversation in the relationship would actually have to be, is like, okay, where do you see yourself at in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and so forth, and vice versa. Even with a woman, you can't just be working at McDonald's and then not on the franchise.
But we also got to understand where we came from too, because I was cleaning motherfucking toilets. I wasn't a business owner 12 years ago.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So that is the conversation throughout the relationship, to where we going and the goals that we have in the relationship, and if we're gonna make 6 figures in the next 4 years or 5 years, so you can be able to get up and go to Greece when you want to.
Right. No, that's I want to segue. Let me give you the segue.
Also, the man for you has to be able to have provision for you. Like, so when this man is planning his goals and his life vision, if all he wants is somebody that's gonna be Susie Housemaker, and that's what he's
Yeah.
looking for. Oh, my wife, she gonna be barefoot and pregnant, running around the house, and that's what being in a successful relationship means to him. Then that does not correlate with who I am. I am
Yeah, that's a very good point.
have a worldwide vision and goal, so it would not behoove me to put my eggs in the basket of a person who doesn't
I
even
love it.
envision that for himself, because
It's
he doesn't
not,
have that
they're
provision for
gonna be
himself.
stressed
I
out
can
because
provide
they
that
don't
for
know how to
you.
date a woman that say the word behoove. They're gonna be like, I can't be talking. He ain't in words. He gonna be so emotionally unstable because they already barely can read. And then,
what was the word earlier? What was the
oh
word
my
earlier?
God, prophylactic. I'm still fucked up off
Prophylactic.
that one. I had to write that
Okay.
down because I'm gonna look that up later. Let me segue.
That's condoms.
Start
Protect
on the
yourself.
love five because this one here, so her
No, but
intelligence
the
gonna
thing
make
is,
like
y'all, it's a show right now on Netflix called How to Be Rich. I don't know if y'all watch it, or How to Get Rich or something like that. And it's a lot of couples on there that they biggest issue was my idea of a rich life was not the same idea as his idea of a rich life. So I get, and I get what you're saying. That is a good point of, if you are a bus driver now, do you want to stay a bus driver, or do you want to be an owner, or do you plan on owning a transportation company? Because in the lifestyle, like you said, you booked a Rock Nation event, so you travel and do business. Maybe he can end up being a transportation travel agent, or your lifestyle is, it's a lot of different elements to it. It may be he's a chef, or it's a lot of different positions that
Mhm,
are related to your lifestyle, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like,
mhm.
it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that's in the same field as you are, but it could still benefit you.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. So, like, it would not behoove me God damn it, let me stop. It would not be okay for me to like a person that it would not be okay for me to like a person that had a lot of money but was really cruel and uncaring.
Mhm,
I need a
mhm.
person who cares. So that's not what I'm saying. Like, this, what I'm talking about is not financially based. It's not, oh, he has to have a job. It is, like, back to what I said, it is me observing how this man behaves with me in his life. Like, I even, like, with me saying that, I'm kind of like shocked that I even said this shit on the live, because I love to be around people and see how they act with me, see how they treat me before they know I'm somebody to act a way towards, or be some ways too. Because if once you be like, oh, she did what, she know who she, blah blah blah, and then it's like, oh, hey, like no, that's fake. Don't, what we say here, don't become Jeffing with me. Like, fuck all that. So no, I keep all that shit like very low under wraps. I'm very down to earth with how I move. But also, I have to, like, what messed me up was I have these big important events that I'm going to, and I have men that I've been dating, but I got to call my friends and ask them, do they want to go?
Segue.
Well, I hate to interrupt you, but we've got our first caller for the night.
Come through.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, before you bring the caller on, I do want to address that comment that was on the screen because it is kind of important. Earlier, that guy has stated the broke question. After the caller, I do want us all to talk about that because every person does definitely have a definition differently of what broke is. Just like how everyone has different definition of rich. So that's the pin subject address after we talk to the caller. Hello, who is this?
Caller? Hello? The caller was on.
Yes,
Hello?
I just come in listen to your conversation. And what I was getting from is that man doesn't already come with the bag, then he's not necessarily compatible for some women.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you said you're wanting to comment on that.
What's going on? I can't hear him.
He said that he basically wanted to make a comment about when if a man comes in and he's not making as much as the woman.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Caller, are you still there?
Okay, well, I believe that everybody in your life has a reason and a season. Now, if you don't give the man the season, you will never learn the reason. And just like if the person comes in, vice versa, if the man come in with the bag, then what necessarily do he need the woman for?
So do he got a hit in the season?
Of course.
No, I want to hear him say it because you know they only come around for a reason in a season.
But I mean, I'm saying in general, people altogether.
I'm saying for the season, do he need to hit that season?
When it comes to women not coming in with the bag, when I was messing with them. But what I had to learn is, you know what I'm saying, there's more than one way to gauge the person's compatibility, you know what I'm saying, how compatible they are to you. You know, they moral
Absolutely.
money, but they moral competence off. What is it worth?
True.
Spiritual things,
Mm-hmm.
visible,
I
you know what I'm saying? They not
How old
family. So you got your bag can be up, but them four things alone right there, maybe you just don't want to mess with you. How old am
No,
I?
that makes perfect sense. How old are
Yeah.
you?
I'm 40.
So yes, because I just had heard you saying like if it was something else, because I think it does matter. I feel
40.
like that was an experienced answer. I don't think a younger person would have necessarily felt that way. So that's what made me ask. Are you currently married?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been married?
I've been engaged, but I was still young and in the streets, and I couldn't leave the streets alone. I mean, I'm honest about my flaws. That's why what you're saying, I came from both sides. I've been the person with the bag, and I ain't saying you women. So when I say this, please don't take it I'm saying to y'all. But I know this to be a fact. The average person take income tax time out of their out the way, claiming kids, haven't even seen $10,000 of their own money at one time, and still living, still paying car notes, and still stuff like that. So to build this thought on a person that maybe just haven't had the chance to prove themselves. I mean, it's kind of, I ain't saying to none of y'all because I don't know you personally. It's a shallow thought.
So when you say the prove yourself, I'm curious as to what you mean as far as that. Like when you're saying it, what do you mean?
I think like this. I mean, all of us in some which way, shape, or form have been through some type of hard time. Now, I ain't saying sucker and just wait around forever for a person to get their stuff right. But if it's just they just need that chance, then maybe they need the right motivation. Maybe they need the right woman to help them guide them through the situation. It's like you can have all the things together yourself, but if you're mentally unstable, maybe the person is going to help you keep yourself mentally stable. While everybody's trying to pull you in every other which way. Because you have the money, everybody only call you because when they need to be bonded, when they need to go somewhere for their kids. You know what I mean?
Now that's true. I got a question for you, and this is just me as a woman asking a man. So with the few things that you had just listed, I know that there are guys, for example, that might have they usually open up with how when you're meeting them by buying you things, right? And then it's almost like a gaslight because then later they're like, well, I don't want to be just used for what I can do, but you literally open the door. My question to you is when you were saying like, okay, we'll give a man a chance and stuff like that, wouldn't you suggest that it would just be wiser for any person, man or female, to have their stuff ready to go for a person versus, like you said, having them deal with that because then it gives a false representation?
You know what? I'm gonna say I'm 50% with you and then not because if I truly like the woman I'm courting, I'm gonna show her. I mean, it's that thing. I'm a firm believer because I've been let down so many times. That love word is so taboo. Like it's not. I'm gonna show you what I want you to feel. Of course, I'm gonna say it because I know everybody needs to hear like they're beautiful or thank you and I love you. It's just the kind of thing to say, but
Right.
what's the word if there's no action behind it? You know what I mean? So yes, I'm gonna show you like, damn, Ma, you've been the one always giving to all these dudes. Let me give to you. Let me help you out in a car note or pay the car off. Let me help you with this mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Or get to the point to where you got to rent on. Let's get to where we are just mortgaging and no more renting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think that's awesome, actually.
You gotta you got to show it back. And maybe it's not money that he needs. You know what I'm saying?
Are you currently single?
So no, I'm engaged now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what's up.
Yay! That's beautiful.
That's really beautiful. So were you guys together for a little while, or was it someone you knew, or are you open to sharing a little bit of that? No? Okay. Hmm.
No, I couldn't hear you. What you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, so with your person that you're engaged to, was this someone you've already known for a little while? I was just more so asking, how long were you actually dating her before you guys got engaged?
Well, I make a short story long. I mean, I went through 3 relationships before I met her, and it's basically what y'all was saying. I just got used for what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met her, I was the guy y'all probably talk about. I was down, and it wasn't because I couldn't get money. I was mentally beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And she accepted me in that point in my life where I was. Now I'm back up. I'm bringing her for a long ride, and she always had her own money. So it wasn't about the money. It was that we both were going through situations with family, friends, and people around us, and we needed somebody mentally to lean on.
Mm.
Mm.
And we, going on 2 years, and we have our ups and downs, but I'll say we have more pluses than negatives.
I like that. I think that's so. Okay, I can work with it. Are y'all engaged with a date, or y'all that far? I don't even want to necessarily date, but
I don't know the person who's doing the show.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
But, yeah, I'm a firm believer in you don't have to sample the milk to know you want the cow.
So you don't have to fuck on the first date.
You said what now?
You don't have to fuck on the first date.
Oh no, that shit been over with, man. That's a sucker shit.
Is it now? Let me hear your perspective. You're the only male on our podcast tonight, so let's hear your perspective of this.
My thing is this: the way you present it is the way I'ma treat it.
So if she presents it as fucking on the first date, then you treating it like what? She's a hoe?
Caller, we got some feedback.
I wouldn't necessarily say a hoe, but that let me know her track record is fairly easy to get into. This is not a limited team.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So basically, if she said that she felt special connection for you, you wouldn't believe that.
Well, that's when it comes in. It's like the word says, faith without works. You got to show me, because the only thing I'm thinking on my mind is how many other niggas got on the first night.
Yep, and we've heard that line before, so that's universal.
But still, I feel like just cause one can pull it off, like dudes have different games. So
look at it like this.
Or do
Go ahead.
No, I'm a firm believer. It goes both ways now. That's like if you get a dude on the first night, you ain't trying to give it up. You like, I'm cool, but he says, you ain't gotta give me the pussy, or you ain't gonna give it up. I'll eat the groceries, I eat you out, and we can go about our way. What you gonna think about him?
I would know. I would feel away. I ain't gonna lie, because that's like this.
I would not want it. He could not like.
I'd be like, they be like, I don't even gotta here. I just want to come over and eat your booty, and it's just like, oh my god. So how many booties have you ate this week? Am I Thursday's booty? Like, what is that?
yeah. The first time I got my booty ate, I blocked him.
I'm not about to play with her.
Wait, you blocked him? Why? Wait.
You know what? This is actually it's perfect because it was like first encounter, first meet, first booty ate,
I'm
first
not about
block.
to play with
Like,
her.
it was.
Did he scare you?
Yes, but I still wanted to see what it be like. So I was
Was it
like,
good though?
no, I don't know. It was
How do you do
stupid.
it wrong?
I just thought it was stupid. Like,
I'm not about to.
because, okay, well, let me say this. This was all he wanted to do. This was it. That was it. We didn't have no other kind of sex. He just wanted to eat my booty. And so
Oh,
I'm like, okay,
he was.
this is weird. At this point in my life, I never had it done before.
Thank you,
And I was
caller.
like,
Sorry, we didn't stress the caller out.
I do. At this point in my life, I never had it done before. And I was like, fuck it, let me see what's gonna happen. And um it was weird to me. And so I just blocked him as soon as I left.
I'm not gonna lie because since that's the only way y'all had sex and nobody else on here, I don't feel like had this night. Like, how do a talk before a booty eating session go?
Well, I was actually my tire was flat on the side of the
So
road.
you was bent it over?
Wait,
Because I just want to know. Like, he ate it outside the car?
No. I
Oh,
just
okay.
it was like
how
my
did you
tire
meet
was
him?
flat. That's how I met him when my tire was
Shut
flat.
the
He
fuck
pulled
up.
up.
Just talking
Oh,
shit
Jesus
in here.
God. Hey, stop out.
So this
Okay.
was
Stop
one of your
out.
first nighters then. This
Stop
was
out.
your first nighter.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck it then. Let's hear it. Let's hear this story.
So
The
my
safe
tire was
space,
flat.
by
I'm
the
like,
way.
damn. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? He pulled up in his dope ass car, and I was like, okay, he's nice. He got out. He was looking really nice. He kind of looked like LL Cool J. I was like, okay. So I was playing my damsel in distress. Then he was like, well, let's exchange numbers. And he was like, well, I don't live far. And, he just told me, like, I want to eat your booty. And I was like, oh, well, I ain't got nothing else to do, so let's go see. So I followed him to his house. I know that sounds dangerous, but it just is what it is. I followed him to his house,
It's a one.
and he wiped my ass down with a towel, and then he ate it.
Okay, let's talk about it. So was the towel wet?
Yes, he wiped warm, wet soap towel, wiped down the crack of my
The
ass.
warm, wet soap towel eat.
Mm.
So
But
did you get the tire
so
changed?
then so like, okay, but
Yeah,
you was like,
it
but
fixed my
good.
tires. Like, yeah, that's why I let him do it. Like, I guess I don't know.
Well, that was the payment. That was the payment for the.
I'm thinking, yeah, I can change my tire. You can come and just lick my rim. So you let him lick your rim shot. You gave him a rim shot. Hey,
What the fuck?
I
I don't know.
just,
I think you are epic tonight. You have epic stories. You are an epic member.
I'm just being honest.
I
So
feel like you can't be mad though. And then